All right, nice, very nice. Let's just hit right over to our pick'em.
Okay.
All right. I'll turn my hat around so it looks like I didn't do it back to back. Okay.
Go
All
change the
right.
shirt, the jersey.
No, I'm keeping the jersey. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Let's do this. What's up, dogs and dogettes? Welcome to week 1 of the NFL Pick'em games against the spread and straight up. As we've done for the last 2 years, it's been a lot of fun. I've gotten 7th place in my Pick'em League the last 2 years, which is a whole $25 each. And I have not really cashed that much outside of that. But I did beat my boss in the yearly one, which is pretty cool. And I also won some FanDuel money, which was fun. So it's been a good year, and this year is going to be a little bit better. And as always, I got Fitz here with me. How you doing, Fitz?
I'm doing great, ready to pick these games, get off to a hot start to the season.
Yeah. I mean, last year I started off hot as well. You kind of started off. Actually, you were simmering. You weren't boiling hot. You were simmering hot, and then towards the end, you kind of cooled off a little bit, and I kind of cooled off as well. We cooled off together, and I think I beat you by like 1 or 2 games total against the spread, I think.
It was a good year. It was a close year.
It was, and we're looking to advance on that year. You know, since it was the first year that you and I did it together, I think we'll feed off each other again this year, and hopefully we'll be boiling for the entire year, so we can rake in the rewards and talk trash to people who don't know what they're talking about.
That's the plan. I'm excited to get started. I'm ready for football.
I am so ready. Okay, well, let's jump right into it. We got the Thursday night game kicking it off, the Super Bowl rematch from last year. Denver, the home team, but they are underdogs by 3 points to the Carolina Panthers. And we all know what happened to Denver in the offseason. Peyton Manning retired. They lost a couple guys from the D-line. They lost Brock Osweiler. Basically, a lot of their offense is going to be different this year. Carolina, they only got stronger, at least on the offensive side with Kelvin Benjamin coming back. Josh Norman left, but he is a mouthpiece, so that's probably why they got rid of him. And I think Carolina's going to be just as strong this year. And I got Carolina winning and covering the opener and putting Denver to an 0-1 record to start.
I agree with you. Panthers win and cover at the Broncos. Kind of a sketchy quarterback situation there. Then you're up against Cam Newton, and the Broncos defense may be really, really good, but so is the Panthers defense. So, if you're comparing offense and defense, it's got to be the Panthers have the edge. I'm not even sure it'll be that close. What with the Broncos kind of running a new offense with the quarterback that they just decided on. So
Yeah.
I've got Panthers winning it probably like 28-14.
Okay, very nice. Similar picks there. And our first game of the Sunday games. Jacksonville at home, underdogs by 4.5 points to my Green Bay Packers. And Jacksonville's still an upcoming team. I mean, they got a good offense, but Bortles does throw a few picks. They added Chris Ivory there. They added a lot of talent on the defense. I still think they're a year away from gelling and being a real power. And Green Bay, they're just on a mission this year. Jordy's going to be back. Ty Montgomery's back. Jared Cook. Eddie Lacy slimmed down. That defense, they got Matthews moving back to the outside linebacker position. That defensive backfield might be the best in the NFL. If they get pressure on Bortles, there's going to be a lot of picks. And I think Green Bay is going to win this one by a touchdown. Probably 31-24.
Yeah, I think the Packers are going to come out of the gates storming. That offense should be firing on all cylinders. They got Jordy back this year. Big expectations for him and Rodgers. Jaguars, I like them a little bit more than you do, I think, but this is not the week for their coming out party. Maybe later in the year, but not week 1 against the Packers. I got to go with the Packers to win and cover this game. I think they could score the most points of any team in week 1. They could put up 40 points this week.
Wow, all right. Well, I like to hear that. I hope they do. I hope they hand the ball off to Lacy because I got him on one of my fantasy teams. Okay, let's go to the next game. Baltimore at home, favored by 3 points against the Buffalo Bills coming in. The Rex Ryan brothers bringing their defense and T-Mobile down to Maryland. And I think Flacco coming back off that ACL. They do have a running back by committee, but Steve Smith Sr. is back healthy. T. Sizzle's back on the defense. I you know what, I don't think Baltimore is gonna win this game, honestly. I might have to go Buffalo in this one. I just don't think Baltimore just has the firepower. I know Harbaugh is a good coach, but with LaShawn McCoy and Sammy Watkins in that defense, you know what? I'm gonna upset special. Buffalo's gonna cover the spread and win this game. I'm putting it on right now.
Oh, you're stealing my upset picks. I've got the Bills winning and covering too. A lot of people high on the Ravens this year. I know that like half their team was dead last year, and I guess they've got players coming back, but just like Osweiler and the Texans, I need to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
I'm not buying the hype on the Ravens. I don't think personally they have a shot at a wild card this year. I think there's too many other teams that have a chance at it. The Bills being one of those teams. So I've got the Bills winning this game and covering.
All right. Yeah, I kind of talked myself out of Baltimore talking about the team there.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's how you gotta do it. I don't have these picks predetermined, so we're just kind of winging it here. And let's see. We get next game. We got Houston favored by 6 points at home against the visiting Chicago Bears. I'm gonna go Houston in this one. I can't see Cutler and Jeremy Langford and Alshon Jeffrey just torching that defense, especially with Brock Osweiler there. Now they got Lamar Miller, who was a stud last year. Miami just never gave him the ball. DeAndre Hopkins, Jalen Strong, and of course J.J. Watt in that defense. I think it's going to be a long day for Chicago down in Houston. I think Houston's going to win and cover this game.
I think Houston's going to win this game. I think the Bears will cover. I think they're going to keep it close. I know the game is in Houston, but this is kind of a litmus test for me to see how the Texans' offense does. I don't think the Bears' defense is that great, but I know that their offense isn't that great either. So I think the Texans' defense is enough to make sure that they're going to win this game, but I'm not sure that the offense is going to get it done to beat them by more than the spread. So I've got the Texans winning, the Bears covering.
Okay, Texans winning, Bears covering. Very nice. Let's move on to the next game. Philadelphia at home, favored by 6 points against the visiting Cleveland Browns. Now, Philly with Carson Wentz probably starting his first game, fresh out of boot, fresh out of college, and Cleveland with RG3. And that offense has actually looked halfway decent in the preseason. I don't have much respect for Doug Peterson. He hasn't shown me anything yet. He's basically an Andy Reid disciple. I'm going to pick Philly to win the game. It's going to be close. I'll have Cleveland covering the spread for this one.
Yeah, I was tempted to take Cleveland in this game. Really tempted, because looking at the schedule, it's hard to find games that they can win this year. They're definitely one of the bottom teams in the league this year. So this is one of those games that they could maybe squeeze a win, and the Eagles aren't going to be great either this year in all likelihood. But yeah. I'd still take in the Eagles to win and cover this game. It's the Browns, you know. They're starting Wentz. Maybe he'll come out hot. I don't know. The team is likely going to rally around, you know, the new guy, give them their best. But I guess the same could be said for RG3. I don't know. I just can't pick the Browns. That's what it comes down to. Eagles to win and cover.
Okay, Eagles win and cover. Let's go to Atlanta, where they are favored by 3 points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jameis dropping weight. They got a good offense with Doug Martin if he stays healthy. Safarian Jenkins, Vincent Jackson, Mike Evans is a stud. That defense is up and coming. Atlanta, Matt Ryan had a bad year last year, but they got Julio Jones still. They added Mohamed Sanu, which whoop-de-doo, you know, he's okay. Following the Bengals, you know what he can do. Yeah. And if Devontae Freeman stays healthy, that's the key. They got to control the ball because their defense is not that good. It's a tough game. I think I might have to go with Tampa on this one, unfortunately, for Atlanta.
I've definitely got the Bucs winning this one. As you know, I have them making the playoffs as a wild card this year. I think they're going to make a big step forward. You just described their offense and their up-and-coming defense. Meanwhile, the Falcons, I have picked them so much over the last couple of years, and they have never failed to disappoint me. They just, I used to be a Matt Ryan believer, but now it's all about Julio Jones. I don't really care for Matt Ryan anymore. That team is just mediocre at best. And I think the Bucks just take this one, even though it's in Atlanta. I cannot get behind the Falcons this year. They're a 6-win team for me. The Bucks, I think, can get 9.
Okay. Very cool, very cool. Well, we're mirroring each other here pretty closely, except for a couple games, so this is good. Next game, Tennessee at home, underdogs to the Minnesota Vikings. Sans Teddy Bridgewater. Minnesota favored by a point. Now, Tennessee has a lot of good things going for them. They got two-headed monster in the backfield, DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry. Mariota's in his second year. They got Delaney Walker and was it Philip Dorsett, and they had one other guy that was really looking good too. I can't recall him offhand. Minnesota obviously has AP. They had a good defense and they got a good coach. Tennessee's coach is not that good. Man, I hate to go with another away team here, but I think I gotta go Minnesota to win and cover this game.
Yeah, Bradford is not the long-term answer, I'm sure, but I'm sure he can be a plug-in-and-play guy. He hasn't had that much reps, obviously. Probably is not going to know the playbook as well as I have. I think it's going to be a simplified offense this first week, but simple should be enough to beat the Titans. I like Mariota, but the rest of that team, I don't know enough about. I don't know if anybody knows anything about that team. Like the Titans, when has anybody heard anything about the Titans the last few years? You know? So
only when they're changing coaches.
Only when they're changing coaches. Or drafting Mariota. That's pretty much it. So I got to go with the Vikings in this one. I think Peterson run the ball, Bradford throw short passes or throw it away. That's the game plan.
Okay. Next game, New York Jets at home, underdogs to our Cincinnati Bengals at 2.5 points. I think Cincinnati is just a super strong team this year. Obviously, the Jets are a very well-rounded team at home. But I think Cincinnati is just a better team in general. They got the 200 monster in the backfield. They got, they lost a few wide receivers, but I think I'm going to have to go Cincinnati to win and cover this game. I think they're just an all-around better team than the Jets, even though the Jets are at home. Yeah, I got to go Cincy. I got to go with my heart on this one.
Yeah. A lot of people, Bengals fans, would probably say that they're cautiously optimistic to see Dalton back under center. I'm excited. The way that he played last year before he went down was nothing short of elite. I mean, really, if you look at his numbers and the way that team played with him, they weren't winning games in spite of him. They were winning games because of him. You might remember that win against the Seahawks last year. Dalton came back in that game and led that team to a very tough win. That's the game that really sold him to me. He's the quarterback going forward. This is his chance to start hot and really step into the limelight and make himself known. I think he's going to do just that. As for his receivers, don't know much about them, but I know Green's going to be great. He's going to draw a lot of attention. It's kind of funny how he doesn't really get the numbers a lot of guys get just because he doesn't get thrown to very much because they've always had those 2 and 3 receivers. They might not have the 2 and 3 receivers this year, so maybe Green puts up more numbers. They'll take this game, win and cover at the Jets, but it could be close. The Jets look pretty good too this year.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be close, I think. All right, let's head down to the Superdome where New Orleans is favored by a point at home against the Oakland Raiders. Now, Oakland's that up-and-coming team. New Orleans is kind of the old team. They still don't have any defense. Mark Ingram can't stay healthy. They got Cooks. They added Colby Fleener. And obviously Drew Brees is going to have to throw a lot. But, man, his numbers have not been good the last couple of years. He's been hurt. He's been down. Carr's got Cooper, Crabtree, Latavius Murray, and that stout defense. I think that if they get a lead, it's going to be very tough for New Orleans to come back on that defense, even with Brees throwing the ball 50 times, which he probably could do. I'm going to have Oakland win and cover on the road this one, and New Orleans is going to start off 0-1 this season.
Finally a game we differ on. I have the Saints winning and covering this one at
Okay.
home against the Raiders. I do like the Raiders' season outlook better per se, but I just love the Saints at home in that dome. I love Drew Brees. The rest of the team, again, I don't think that they're going to be a playoff team or anything, but I think that they have enough to beat a team that is known for underperforming in the Raiders at home. I think Brees comes up big. He'll get it done. Saints win and cover.
Okay, very good, very good. Let's head on down to Kansas City, where they're favored by 7 points against the lowly San Diego Chargers. And San Diego just doesn't have an O-line. They don't have much of a D-line. They don't have much of a defensive backfield. Um, Outside of Keenan Allen, they don't have much for receivers. They picked up Travis Benjamin. Melvin Gordon has yet to touch the end zone in the regular season. Kansas City getting Jamal Charles back, that defense. I got to pick Kansas City to win and cover this one at home. I think it's a pretty easy pick.
Yep, pretty easy pick. I'm a big Phillip Rivers fan, but there's just not enough on that team. Really, the complete opposite of the Chiefs. The Chiefs are pretty much as complete a team as you can get. They've got the defense, they've got the offense. Chiefs win and cover. What more can you say?
Not much, that's for sure. All right, let's move on to the next one. Heading out to the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, favored by 10.5 points at home against the visiting Dolphins. Coming off a lot of rain and a tropical storm. I think Seattle, just a super strong team. They kind of turned it on after Jimmy Graham went down. They kind of figured out their offense, utilizing Russell Wilson, kind of letting him play a little bit more instead of just handing the ball off, which he can't do. Marshawn Lynch is gone. Thomas Rawls is kind of injured, but they'll hand the ball to him. I think he's going to be a running back by committee anyways this year with Christian Michael coming back and being strong. Tyler Lockett, Doug Baldwin, Jimmy Graham, and that defense. I think they're going to win and cover this game. I think Miami just does not have the firepower, even with Arian Foster moving down there.
Yeah, I can't get behind Miami. I like Arian Foster as a runner, but he has had the injury problems. Tannehill, I don't know. I don't know if they have enough around him. The defense is pretty good, but Seattle's, again, it's like the Chiefs. They've got the whole package. They've got the offense. They've got the defense. There's no reason that they should lose to a team like the Dolphins ever. If they do, it's probably because they shoot themselves in the foot, turn it over too much, etc. But there's no reason they should lose this game, whether it's in Seattle or Miami. So Seahawks win and cover.
All right, very good. Next game, Indianapolis. Luck coming back finally. They're favored by 4 points against the visiting Detroit Lions. And Detroit lost Megatron, obviously in the offseason to retirement. They added Marvin Jones, who was a good piece in Cincinnati. Wasn't a great piece. They got really nobody in the backfield. They got Amir Abdullah, who's kind of good. Theo Riddick, who can catch the ball. And a decent defense. But I think Indianapolis, at home, that place is going to be rocking. I think even with their offensive line woes, Andrew Luck's going to pull a 7-point victory, and they're going to win and cover at home and give those fans something to cheer about.
I agree the Colts will win, but I disagree that they'll cover. I think it's going to be a close enough game that I can say the Lions will cover.
Okay.
I think they're fairly even in terms of what their records will be this year. Again, I think the Colts are just going to miss the playoffs. That team's just too incomplete. Luck, I guess, has the potential to carry the team, but not the way he played last year. He has to really step up, and I think he probably can, but will he? I don't know. Meanwhile, the Lions, Stafford, he's a pretty good quarterback. Maybe he should get more respect than he does. He lost Megatron. I don't know what other weapons they have on that team, but I think he's good enough that he can keep it close, considering that their defense is probably better than the Colts, and they are definitely going to get in Luck's face with that Indy O-line. So I think the Lions will keep it close enough that they can cover, maybe win, but I got the Colts winning, Lions covering.
All right, sounds good. Let's head over to the Big D. Dallas, favored by a 0.5 point somehow over the New York Giants. Dak Prescott, they're giving him a lot of respect. And I think just breaking it down, Dez was hurt all last year. He hasn't really played at all in the preseason. Elliott's a rookie. Prescott's a rookie. The defense is still the same defense. Not that good. The O-line is really good. So if they're able to control the ball, then it's going to be tough for the Giants. But I think with Eli, they got Odell Beckham, they got Sterling Shepard on the opposite side. Victor Cruz is back, like that really means anything. Rashad Jennings in the backfield, and then I guess JPP is actually playing pretty good, even though he's sans most of his fingers on his right hand. I think the Giants are going to win and cover this one and get a little revenge for their loss last year in Giants Stadium in the last second when Witten caused that touchdown.
Yeah, I've got the Giants winning and covering too, although I would say it's mostly because, yeah, I think they're going to take the division, but the Cowboys seem to fall flat in their home games early in the season. I don't know what it is, but they always put themselves behind the 8 ball. They can never get ahead, and that's why they always end up 8-8, is they're chasing somebody in the lead in that division. I think it's going to be the Giants to take that lead. The Cowboys, they could end up being a pretty good team this year. I wouldn't be that surprised, but again, they're the perennial 8-8 team. I don't have enough confidence in that offense without Romo. I know that the running game should be very, very good, but without Romo, I need to see it before I can predict them to do 10 wins or better. So
Yeah.
but I can see the Giants going 10 wins right now with Eli and Beckham. So I'm gonna take the Giants to win and cover this game.
Okay, nice. Then we're going down the big game in Arizona. Arizona favored by 6 over the Garoppolo-led New England Patriots. And you put Tom Brady in there, and for sure, I got New England in this one. You take Tom Brady out, I got Arizona. I just think Arizona is such a complete team at home. Arians going to have that team ready. Garoppolo, first game, first time under the lights, playing a whole game, not just garbage time, which he never really got into for much garbage time anyways in New England because Brady plays the whole game every time. New England, I think, will keep it close, but not that close. I got Arizona winning by a touchdown, 7 to 10 points in this one. They're going to win and cover at home and hand New England a loss early on.
Yeah, put it this way. These are two, assuming Brady's on the Patriots, these are two of the best, probably 4 or 5 teams in the league. If the Patriots can beat one of the best teams in the league without Brady, that would just be disgusting. That would be like a lock for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl in my eyes.
Yep.
Unless the Cardinals aren't as good as we think they are, but I think they are as good as we think they are. I think the Cardinals are going to come out. I think they're going to hammer the Patriots. I'm thinking definitely more than a 1 touchdown margin of victory. I'm looking for 10 or more for the Cardinals to win this game, win and cover.
All right, very good, very good. Then we're heading to the 2 Monday night games. We got Washington at home, underdogs by 3 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought a lot about this game, and Martavius Bryant out. You have Le'Veon Bell out. Obviously, D'Angelo Williams is a good plug-in, but he's not as good. He's getting a little bit older. Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown are going to have a lot of yards, probably a couple touchdowns. But I think Washington at home is just going to be the tougher team this week, and they have a big desire to prove people wrong that they weren't just a fluke last year, even though they got steamrolled by the Packers in the playoffs. I think Washington's going to come out. They're going to win and cover this game, obviously. I think they're going to win handily. I think they're going to win by 6 or 7 points in this game.
Interesting. I've got the Steelers to win and cover. I do like the Redskins this year, but the way that division is, it's just too hard to tell, so I can't really get too behind them, but I think they're a pretty complete team. I just think the Steelers are still going to be, fired up from the way the playoffs went for them, the way the game against the Bengals, and then how they went out after. They're going to be a very good team this year, for sure, I think. And then the Redskins, I'm just not quite as sure about. It is a home game for the Redskins. Make or break year for Kirk Cousins for sure, but just like how I like the Jags this year, they're not going to beat the Packers in week 1. I just don't think the Redskins are going to beat the Steelers in week 1.
Okay, Pittsburgh it is. Then the game of the week, San Francisco at home against the LA Rams. Rams are favored by 2.5 points. I'm pretty sure this is a home game. I want to double check real quick. Yep, Los Angeles at San Francisco. Okay. Rams fair by 2.5 points. San Francisco, I just think San Francisco is just not a good team. They just don't have the talent on offense. Blaine Gabbert, trouble completing the forward pass. Carlos Hyde's the only real talent on that team, and if he gets bottled up by that LA Ram front four, I think it's just gonna be a long night, I guess, for San Francisco. I have the Rams winning this game by a field goal. It's gonna be a pretty ugly game. I think it's gonna be 21-17 or 20-14. Not much scoring. A few picks for both sides. But I think Gurley and Tavon Austin have definitely more talent than the entire San Francisco offense has right there.
Yeah, I love Todd Gurley. The Rams not so much, but I think he's going to be enough to get them some wins this season that people might not predict. This is one of those wins that they should definitely be favored, but I looked at this 49ers schedule, and I cannot find any games to favor them. Like, I just can't. And this is a divisional game, so I'm going to take the 49ers just because this is like one of the one or two games that they have a chance in, and maybe the Rams come out flat, maybe they're a little anxious the first game in LA, right? So
Yep.
49ers, they're just down the road in Cali there, so I think this is the game for them to do it. If they're going to do it, if they're going to get a win, this is it. So I got to go with the 49ers. Win and cover.
All right, they did it last year. They won their first game. So we'll see if history repeats itself. Well, I hope you enjoyed these picks. I want to know what your picks are. Leave them in the comments below. See if you can beat me. See if you can beat Fitz. And if you do it each week, I will actually add your name and your correct picks to the video, and we can see how we compete against each other throughout the year. So I won last year. I have the title. I have the belt. Anybody that thinks they can take the belt, leave your picks below. Anyways, we'll see you next time. Fitz, any other words?
It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a fun year. I'm very excited to see how this plays out. Lots of good teams this year, and lots of teams at the bottom, but they can't all lose every week, so there will be upsets. So it's going to be tough, but we'll see what happens.
Yes, especially against the spread, makes every game that much more trouble. Anyways, we'll see y'all next time. Take care.